This IRL streamer has been delivering food orders and straight up chaos to California residents for over a year now, and apparently her latest incident escalated into an alleged hit and run with an elderly man, seemingly caused by her on her own stream. So it doesn't get too much better than this, I guess. So meet Shay Brown, who goes by Vegan Patriot, Lord Vegan Patriot, and more recently, Vegan Patriot Always Wins across various platforms, but mainly on YouTube. She's an IRL streamer who's been building, or rather accumulating, a reputation in certain communities for a while. Unlike most content creators I cover who have, I guess, a cleaner, sort of easier to track backstory, this one's scattered all over the place. Because it's safe to say, Shay's story is just a running saga. It's like spread across a whole bunch of VODs, subreddits, mirror channels, petitions, and deleted content. So there was a lot of scrambling to try to put this story together, especially just understanding her online presence. Like, the fact that she's an IRL streamer obviously means that, you know, she takes her camera out in the world with her, living her day-to-day life on camera. But I guess a big part of her day-to-day life involves working as a gig worker, specifically a delivery driver, including Doordash, Spark, and Uber Eats. And she does this while living out of her car in California with her Chihuahua Abigail. And Abigail becomes important to the story later on. So while a handful of audience is there for genuine support, it seems like a whole bunch of them are there to hate watch. And I feel like this is also true with a lot of IRL streamers. Essentially, people tune in and hope to see some sort of downfall. This is honestly very similar to how people watch Johnny Somali, except this person is just very different in basically every way. But based on her track record, something usually goes down on her stream. And at one point in 2025, criticism of Shay's content escalated into petitions calling on YouTube and animal welfare groups into taking action against her channel, focusing on her Chihuahua Abby and alleged neglect and unsafe living conditions for that Chihuahua. And they essentially accused Shay of a whole bunch of stuff, including keeping Abby in filthy conditions inside of her car, exposing the dog to secondhand smoke, leaving her without food and water for extended periods of time, and I guess the worst thing, delivering food with the dog present, which by itself isn't that bad, but unfortunately she let the dog relieve itself on the orders which went to customers. I mean, that is a nightmare for the customer. What is going on here? I guess we've just kind of normalized playing Russian roulette with our food, as we never really know what happens to the food or the packaging before it gets to us. This is crazy. But I guess the worst part is that Shay clearly saw it happen, and right after the clip, you can just see her going through the bags and just tossing them aside. What? Then, okay, as soon as she gets back into the driver's seat, a viewer sends a donation pointing it out, and her reaction on stream is just completely unbothered, brushing it off like it's not really an issue because everything's protected inside the bag anyway.
Abby Always Wins sent $2. Can we talk about how Abby dropped the deuce on their groceries? She peed on chips. Is she okay? I think she needs to go out.
It was not on anything else I checked. I removed it. All is well. That's what bags are for, right? To protect.
What? Hey, I mean, it could just be me, but I don't think those bags are designed to keep dog waste bacteria out of the food. This is just unbelievable behavior. Now, the petition didn't really get too much traction or attention at all, and it didn't really lead to any real intervention. But it also called out her behavior, especially the way she acts behind the wheel. Because allegedly, Shay has been recklessly driving a whole bunch, driving under influence of the reefer, and texting and reading chat while driving on the road. And of course, she was live streaming all of this. Now, in this short clip, you can see that she checks her phone twice in 20 seconds while driving.
Oh my God! Ah! What's wrong with you?
But I feel like the strongest piece of evidence backing everything up from that petition actually comes from about a year before the incident that we're going to be talking about very soon, because this happened during a live stream in Los Angeles where Shay ran a lady over. There's nothing like running someone over because you're too distracted live streaming and interacting with chat. But I guess she was behind the wheel with her stream, running with her car, and hit a woman who was crossing the street. She stopped, she got out, asked if the woman was okay, repeated several times that she hadn't seen her, and then ended the stream. Now, the only thing that's positive here is she actually stopped and tried to help.
I also know that he does hear those voices. They're not fake, but I wonder Oh my God, are you okay?
No.
I didn't see her.
Why are you not looking?
I was looking. I didn't see you.
What the f right here?
I'm telling you, I did not see you.
Okay, and? What the
Just tell me how I can help.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Oh, okay.
Where's my phone?
Okay. Oh my God, you guys. I don't know what just happened, but it wasn't good. I'm trying to... Where do you want me to go? I plan on it. Can I park? All right, guys, here's your content for the day.
But later that same day, she came back online and walked her audience through what happened. And according to her, everything was just an accident and it didn't happen because she was reading the chat. Because she says it was the sun that was in her eyes, and because of that, she couldn't see the woman.
It was really scary. And the sun was in my eyes, and you can go look at the stream. I was not even looking at chat. Actually, the cop literally told me, he was like, literally comes up and claps me on the shoulder and he goes, just so you know, I know how hard that was. He's like, do you know how many hit and runs we have out here?
And she also said there was no official report that had been filed, that the woman didn't want to press charges, and that there were actually 3 reasons charges weren't being pursued, though she didn't really fully remember those 3 reasons.
No, there wasn't an official report filed. You're not listening. She didn't have damages that were deep enough for an official report. She didn't want to press charges. And what was the other reason? There were 3 reasons. I don't know, but there's no report.
What a train wreck of a person. I mean, this is just crazy. But here's where things get a little bit complicated, because a big part of this discussion here, or at least around this incident, isn't just about the incident itself. It's about her behavior before the incident, because a lot of her criticism, remember, is about her being off the reefer and other things to get her feeling very good while streaming and while driving. And now suddenly she runs down a woman. Yeah, that's not a good look. Now, if that was happening before the collision, the question of whether she was impaired at the time, I mean, that's a relevant question, but it's also very hard to prove in California. It's hard to prove in a lot of states because, you know, a lot of people use some of that reefer. And it's not a substance like alcohol. It can stay in your blood for a long time. So it's actually really hard to prove that someone was on it, because obviously with alcohol, there's a very defined legal threshold and a reliable way to test it in the field. When it comes to that green, they don't really have that. So there's not really a threshold, and there's also not really a reliable way to test it, because like if you do a blood test, I mean, that's going to show up forever. I mean, I think even 2 weeks ago would still show up in your blood. Now in Europe, they're also using swab tests, but that could also be very dicey because, again, California has a legal market. So in theory, you can use the reefer, I mean, the night before, and then let's say you wake up, you don't brush your teeth and you go driving. Technically a swab test, you should fail that, even though you weren't impaired whatsoever. So it becomes a very tricky situation, to put it lightly, because the officer at the scene would need to pick up on the visible present signs of impairment. And if they didn't, there isn't really a clear path to get an arrest on those grounds. Now, if that had led to an arrest and a blood draw and substances were found and the pedestrian had sustained an injury serious enough to require going to the hospital, the whole thing could have been different. But again, the blood test is going to be very hard to actually figure out if she was impaired at the time or not. But none of that happened, and this is why the situation was resolved without any charges. And she also came across as very tone deaf for, running a woman over. She was just kind of like, oh yeah, I've been blessed this day. Like, what do you mean? You ran over a woman. This is a nightmare. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured, but still, nightmare.
All I'm gonna say is I've been blessed, and I'm very grateful for choosing to not be a piece of today. Guys, I don't have a charge. I don't have a ticket. You know why? Because I literally wasn't a piece.
But at some point after the pedestrian incident, Shay's main YouTube channel, operating under Vegan Meme Dog and Friends, was banned for breaking many of YouTube's rules. And apparently the final straw was alleged footage of Shay smacking Abby live.
I would be down. I don't think she wants to be honest, but I would be down. I didn't have a problem with her. I was just curious, and like, I did want to be empathetic. You know, Abby, goddamn, why? Abigail. Why? Dude, literally, why you're... Dude, I'm over it.
Now, was this the reason she was actually banned or not? I don't know. YouTube hasn't said anything about it. But it is crazy that you have someone who's like really branding herself as a vegan, but is not being the kindest to her dog, to put it lightly. But then she came back under a new channel, which is still her current one. VP Always Wins, which, you know, is also against YouTube's policies and how Clavicular got his 2 other channels banned. But I digress. So that brings us to April 26th of this year, and the incident that's now making the rounds. So Shay was out delivering food as usual and streaming it, and then an order took her to a nursing home. So she pulled into the parking lot and, by her own admission on stream, parked in a handicap space without her permit displayed. She then mentioned that she does have a handicap tag, but said it was buried somewhere in the storage and she hadn't bothered to dig it out.
Oh my God, am I at a nursing home? These ones are kind of funny, but they take a while because I have to go in to find a special parking spot. Actually, my handicap tag's in the back. I could technically park in handicap, but it's a hassle because if I don't have my handicap sticker on and then I get a handicap ticket, like I have to send in the email or I have to go to the courthouse itself. It's happened twice. Of course, they don't like penalize me once they realize I have one, but the other thing is that I feel like just looking it up and printing it out because I don't want to look, like it's somewhere deep in all my files and stuff. I don't want to look for it. Oh yeah, it's in one of my evidence things in storage.
An elderly resident, identified in the audio as Harvey Miller, was not happy about it and confronted her in the parking lot, saying that it was a designated spot, and he called the front desk to report that a delivery driver had entered the building through the secure door without authorization.
Is this designated? It says handicap on it. I also have a handicap tag, sir. Am I not allowed to park here just because this is for an actual person? It's not a general handicap spot. I'm here making a delivery with a handicap sticker also. Am I not allowed to do what you do, or is this have your name on it? It looks like it doesn't have your name on it, sir, and I'm just as valid to have a parking spot like in a handicap space as you are. So I'm gonna go make my delivery now. Thank you. Hey, your name isn't on it, and I have a handicap tag. If you would like to go to court over this, we can do that.
Here's R.D. Miller, E110. There is a person in the building that's not supposed to be there, and her car is parked in my parking spot on the east side. She's a delivery person some type, and she is in the building. I saw her go in.
What then followed was a back and forth in the parking lot, with Shay saying that she'd already spoken to staff and Harvey saying that he parked right behind her. She told him to get away from her car, but apparently he didn't move fast enough for her liking.
Is she out there right now, or is she
No, but she's going to be here because she can't get out, and I'm parked behind her. I cannot excuse you.
I don't
You were
care,
nuts.
sir. I've already spoken to the staff. You need to get away from my car.
What a weirdo. Like, dude, I will hit your car. Get away from me. Get away from my vehicle,
Look,
sir.
You're breaking the law.
No, you're
not gonna
breaking.
let you get
You're
away.
literally harassing my. I hope you guys keep this. Get your hands away from my vehicle. Get away from me. You're an entitled old man. This is why you're here alone.
What you're doing is illegal.
No, I'm not actually. What you're doing is harassment. If you touch my vehicle, sir, I will file. Do not touch my car. I will hit your car. And it's all on camera here, dude. Get away from me. I'm telling you right now to get away from me. This is all on camera, sir.
Yes, it is.
Yes. No, it's actually on
security's
camera
on
where
the
you're
way.
touching my vehicle.
And security.
Get off of my car, you sick.
Security's on the way, you dumb.
Touch my vehicle, you little piece.
You just assaulted.
No, you are touching me, and I tell you to get away from my property. Get off of my vehicle, you old.
Yes.
Get off my car. Get away from me. Okay? Now get away from me and stay away from me.
You just hit
Have a
my
night
car.
good. You deserved it.
Okay, yeah, so after driving off, she reflected on that situation on her stream.
No, there were no numbers. There was no name. It was a handicap spot. And I have a placard. Also, I was already parked with the engine about to go off with the keys coming out. Dude just was pissed because he was obviously the type of boomer that wanted what he wanted right then and now. It was the fact that he literally tried to rip off my rear view mirror, and then his crusty, saggy old man fingers inched their way towards my face from my sunroof. No, I didn't do anything wrong. And the fact that he came at me physically gave me every right to scratch his car. It was a safe turn. He was literally trying to rip off. No, there are laws against that. Like, anyone that acts like that was me being a piece of you. I handled that better than most would, I think.
What is wrong with this woman? I mean, this is crazy. But whether any formal report was filed or charges were pursued, that's still unclear. But judging by the audio itself, it really sounds like she recorded herself doing a hit and run. Now, taken individually, any one of these incidents might read as an isolated bad day, but when you add them all together, she's a menace. You don't want her driving around your town. That's for sure. And I'm assuming that the delivery platforms that she works with, DoorDash, Spark, Uber Eats, they're not fully aware of the scope of what's being recorded on her streams. Or if they are, they're being very ignorant to this. But who knows? I don't know if that'll change after the nursing home incident or not. But regardless, I mean, this is just insane. As of right now, no charges have been filed that we know of, but this also just recently happened. So if an update happens, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. But other than that, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.